If you're watching this video, chances are that you know exactly how many days are until your next paycheck, and that really needs to change. If you're living paycheck to paycheck, it can feel very stressful, very tiring, and just how every unexpected expense feels like a crisis. I know what it's like when money is just always on your mind. You're For so long, I remember just feeling stressed about having enough, whether I have enough for now or for retirement, or um, whether I was even doing the right things. And so, really, that constant pressure is what drove me to pay attention more to my money. And it ultimately led to financial independence in my 30s with just using my 9 to 5 job. And today I'm going to share what are some things that you can do today. Here's the thing, most financial advice out there treats the symptom and not really the disease. And so today we're going to dive into some hard truths that nobody wants to hear, but everyone needs to understand if they actually want to be able to break the cycle. Stick with me until the end. I promise that you'll walk away with a clearer picture of what's actually keeping you stuck and what you can do about it. So let's get into it. Hard truth number one is that you're not budgeting, you're just surviving. Now, here's how most people approach money management: just logging into their bank account before they buy something and hoping that there's enough money left. And real budgeting means you know before the month starts where all of your money is going. You've already allocated things to your rent, to your groceries, any savings, and things like that. And so when you're just surviving, you're being more reactive. So that unexpected car repair, you end up panicking. That medical bill, you go into crisis mode, and you're just one emergency away from disaster, basically. But when you're able to budget intentionally, you're able to be more proactive, and you have a plan, and you have all these different categories. And so you know that $500 there that you have in your bank account isn't extra money. It's been assigned for several things that you'll need for your day-to-day money. And so if you don't tell your money where to go, it ends up disappearing, and then you have no idea where it went. So what you can do about it is, it may sound simple, but I think it can make a big impact. And that's just spending like 30 minutes sometime this week to look at all the different transactions that you've made in the past week or the past month, and just figure out what those transactions are. Our truth number two is that your small expenses are killing you. So that McDonald's run because you ended up having back-to-back school activities with the kids and you didn't end up planning dinner, or that $30 Target run that somehow ends up becoming $80, or that streaming service that you signed up for free uh, to get the free trial and then just forgot about it, or even just going to the gas station for a $6 snack or drink. And so each thing individually just doesn't seem like anything, right? You would probably just think it's just a few dollars, but let's do the math. Those emergency Target runs, let's say you do it 3 times a month, and you go $30 over budget, that totals out to $90 a month. And then that last minute takeout, because of all the activities, let's say you do 2 a week, about $35, that adds up to $280 a month. And so a whole year is about $3,360 a year. And so you see how those little things that seem insignificant do add up. And even when what I see in my own coaching sessions, when I sit down and we go through all the expenses line item by line item, that's the moment when my clients' eyes go wide, because they had no idea that all the small scattered purchases were just adding up to thousands. It's not that they're irresponsible or anything. It's because life gets busy. It's sometimes impossible to really track and look at everything, and it can get overwhelming with so many transactions, especially now that maybe you have kids, and so it adds to the complexity. But the thing is that a lot of times here, the hard truth is that the financial security is being eroded by a lot of these unplanned expenses. And because just one feels insignificant, then nothing really gets done about it. And I want you to know, I don't want you to think that I'm saying don't go get takeout or go on those shopping trips. I'm just saying that we need to be more intentional about it. We need to create a savings plan for it and make a choice and not default to just being in reaction mode because we're having a chaotic day. And so, what you can do about it is that from looking at those transactions, really asking yourself that what am I paying for that I don't really need or use. So really make sure to take a look and ask yourself those questions. Now, moving on to hard truth number 3 is that you could be trapped in broke mentality. So there's this mentality that maybe you're thinking, I'm never going to make money anyways, so really I might as well just enjoy what I have now. There's all this debt that maybe you could have that it makes you feel like you're never going to get to a point where you're going to have some breathing room and be able to enjoy your money. So, it just seems logical to just spend it now. So you see that $200 in your account and you think, okay, or even just 100, and you think that it's not going to really make much difference, so I'm just going to spend it on something that makes me feel good. And the brutal truth is that this is the exact mentality that is going to keep you broke. Go in this cycle where because of that broke mentality, you just spend everything, and that keeps you staying broke and reinforces that broke mentality. Now, your mindset about money is what ends up keeping you poor. And you've convinced yourself that every saving is pointless because those amounts are just too small. They aren't going to do anything. So you just might as well spend it. Meanwhile, the wealthy people are treating every dollar like it matters. So let me tell you about when it clicked for me. When I first started out and I had my first job, I wasn't making six figures, but I figured I would at least start with something to put in I opened up a CD account, so I put that in there. And I will tell you, like, after the end of the month, I was so happy to see how much my money has grown. And it wasn't much, but here, what amazed me was that even just that small amount amount of money was able to make me more money without me putting any effort. It was just growing there. And I'm glad I started like with that amount, because now it has grown so much. And now years later, I've been able to reach financial independence. So I'm glad that even just with starting something small, the power of compounding is what's going to end up helping to grow your money. So what you can do here is to remember that it's okay to start small. Even just $5 going towards your savings can make a big difference. And even investing, if you want to start investing your money, we have now the opportunity to, even with small amounts, be able to do that. So look into how you can get started as soon as possible with those things. The next hard truth is that more money isn't going to fix your financial problem. Now, I hear this all the time. If I just made more money, then I won't have these problems. And so what you end up doing is working overtime or working on the weekends, thinking that bringing in more money will help cover a lot of these expenses. And the uncomfortable truth is that if you make six figures or even more, and you're still living paycheck to paycheck, then maybe it might not be that your income is gonna, making more income is gonna solve your problem. And that's why I had you look at all the expenses. That's good a good opportunity there to go see is where are your money leaks, so you can start help it can help you solve the areas where maybe you can get started to fix that. And so if you don't have an income problem, then the problem could be, just lifestyle creep. And so maybe you might not have an income problem. It could be lifestyle creep, that maybe every time that you got a raise, then you felt like, oh, okay, I can get a nicer car, I can get nice furniture, we can go on better vacations. And so it just, all your expenses ended up going up as much as your income. And then hard truth number 5 is you have no financial cushion, and that's really costing you more money. When you have no emergency fund, then just everything seems like it becomes an emergency. The car breaks down, you need to get you end up putting it on a credit card. Then the medical bill, then you end up needing a payment plan, which you end up paying interest. And so the cruel irony is that being broke ends up being very expensive, because when you have no savings, that leads to overdraft fees. When you can't pay bills on time, that leads to late fees, or poor credit means higher interest on everything. And so without a financial cushion, you're playing that financial defense 24/7. Every unexpected expense sets you back further, and you're literally paying more for everything because you can't afford to pay less. And so what you can do about it is first let your first goal be an emergency fund. Let's say $500. And if that feels like too much for you, I mean, just let that be your goal. And even if you don't reach that 500, at least having something in that emergency account is better than nothing. So here's the thing, staying comfortable with the lies that we tell ourselves about money won't really change anything. So it's so important to be honest with ourselves. You're not really bad with money, you're not lazy, and the thing is that you're just stuck in patterns that maybe don't serve you anymore. And that's why awareness really is the first step. Now, I've given you a few quick steps with each of these hard truths and some small actions that you can start taking today. And because really breaking that paycheck to paycheck cycle isn't really easy, and it won't happen overnight. But that's why a lot of this is really, the theme is awareness. But in my next video, I'm going to go deep into the 7 lessons that my clients learned that actually help them break the cycle for good. And these are going to be very real, in-depth strategies that can help to create lasting change. So make sure that you tune in for the next video.